Though this announcement may feel sudden as a nuclear bomb going off without warning. So this is going to be a little unscripted, so I apologize for any of my pausing and sounding a little bit off. I'm not going to polish this video as well. But I really wanted to take the moment to kind of talk about something that just happened to the design community. Now, I've talked before a little bit on my channel how I often will sometimes use design assets to create work. And a lot of times we get those tool sets through aggregated sites. I know I mentioned a lot of times Creative Fabrica as being one of the ones that I use, but in truth, there's multiples that I use, one of which being Design Cuts, or at least I did until yesterday. So I've been a member of Design Cuts for well over 5 years. I think I first started downloading things clear back in 2019, actually when I first started playing around with the Affinity Suite. And they have always had a really great selection. In fact, so much so that I kind of tried to purposely distance myself a little bit, not just randomly go on there because I was dropping a lot of money and I really didn't need to. All of the assets were of good quality. The artists that they featured were, really great. These included things like, Lisa Glanz. I'm trying to think who else was on there. Willy Pronto was on there. There was all sorts of artists who would put their stuff up there that, tools or clip art that you could use to create projects. And then you could, purchase them and you would be able to download them. You would have access to a commercial license typically. And then you would be able to, kind of create work from that. And they sold us the idea that these were always going to be available once you purchased the license and that you could always re-download things. In fact, they even kind of suggested if you were trying to manage your space a little bit, that you don't necessarily need to download everything, which I took advantage of, particularly with things like, Christmas clip art that I had a bunch of that I got back in 2023, or maybe some Procreate brushes or tutorials that I just didn't necessarily want to store in Dropbox just to save a little bit of space. But I've learned that not having your own copy of things is a really bad thing. And here's why. So this evening I actually was at my daughter's gymnastics class. I had actually was working on a design for a bookmark that you guys will see here in an upcoming video. And I just happened to click into my email and this popped up from one of the designers that I follow. Like, I'm on her newsletter, which I don't follow very many people in like newsletter land. Like, I kind of keep my inbox fairly clean, but this one popped up. And this came from Addie, who's the Willy Pronto. She says, "Painting fan, as you may have known, Design Cuts abruptly closed down yesterday without warning to customers and sellers." And that she feels for everyone trying to, recover lost files. And, if you've purchased my products through it, I will always honor that purchase and gladly help you restore files that you may have lost. To speed things up, if you could send screenshots or attachments of confirmation emails. If you can't find them, please don't email me and we'll figure things out. To which my brain went, wait, what? And I went back and looked through my email, and I didn't have a single message from Design Cuts that said that they were closing or abruptly closing down. In fact, when I typed in Design Cuts and, go in here, pull up my trash because I cleaned things out, the last one that I had, back on January 10th was, hey, here's the freebie of the month, here's the freebie of the week, which is usually a lot of times a font. And I went, and there's still all of these in here. In fact, all sorts of cool stuff. In fact, I had been contemplating purchasing like the isometric town kit and didn't have a chance to do that. These are other ones that I own. I own this one, the drawing kit, the canvas creator. I had contemplated getting the urban art kit. I don't know if I did or not. So it's like, it was such an awesome site. So immediately I go over, put in Design Cuts into my browser. And when I hit enter, it bounces me to Creative Market. Oh my God, why is this going to Creative Market? Like, of all the... Please tell me Design Cuts did not sell themselves to Creative Market. I mean, of all the services you could have sold to. And at the top here, it says, joining us from Design Cuts, learn more here. So let's see what they had to say. So, message from Design Cuts. Design Cuts closed its doors on January 16th, 2025. Welcome to Creative Market, a community that shares your passion. We'll draw a line somewhere. Dear Design Cuts community, after 11 wonderful years, it is with a heavy heart that we announce that Design Cuts must close our doors. We deeply appreciate the support of our incredible customers and community throughout this journey. We are grateful to be partnering with Creative Market, who are acquiring the Design Cuts brand. Though this announcement may feel sudden as a nuclear bomb going off without warning, we trust that they will provide you with a welcoming and supportive place to discover the best creative assets and inspiration. We understand that this news may come as a surprise. Well, it does. And we appreciate your understanding through this change. Thank you for being a vital part of our story, the Design Cuts team. And I'm still like, wait, what? That's it? Well, there's a learn more about this decision. Okay, scroll down. We've got a bigger message here. Dear Design Cuts community, the Design Cuts approach has always been one of honesty and transparency, and today especially, you deserve nothing less. We realize that the sudden and public closure of Design Cuts has left questions for many of you. I hope today's update can provide some clarity. As many creatives will know, it's been a tough market in recent years. So much so that for the past 3 years, Design Cuts has been losing money. As a self-funded startup, this has been particularly challenging, although through team adjustments, hard work, and new ventures such as Creative Club, we've tried to endure the storm. Directors have taken no salary for months to give us the best chance of survival. Throughout this time, we've been committed to continuing our regular live events and maintaining our community's experience. We want to share a huge appreciation for our team for everything they've given over this period. Okay, so we've been having problems for 3 years. We've been losing money for 3 years, but not once have they said anything to us that this is a problem. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, last year we found ourselves facing insolvency if we took no action. We had not expected to reach that point so quickly, but some shifts within the market meant that we increasingly had less time than we could have imagined to make decisions. Faced with this, we began working frantically to try and find the best resolution for everyone, our team, our shop owners, and of course our community. In our explorations, Creative Market came to our rescue as a great ally. They agreed to purchase the DC brand as well as take on the original products we have released, which would allow the designers involved in co-creating them to continue earning. The funds from this acquisition have ensured that we can pay out all our shop owners for all sales owed, which was absolutely imperative for us, as well as being able to honor any refund requests for Creative Club subscription memberships. And I believe their Creative Club honestly just started last year. Like, I remember seeing it and thinking, pass for now, trying to kind of manage my own funds. And still, they didn't say a word that they were having problems. Whilst we know most of our customers download their assets following purchase, we recognize that for many of you, this may not be the case. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, we found ourselves in a position where we could no longer sustain our Amazon hosting bill for downloads, which is significant. As a team who truly cares about our people, this felt like an impossible choice. Of course, we want to look after everyone, but in this case, we know we've let some of you down as we close our doors. We understand that the frustration, disappointment, and even anger this series of events may have caused for some. Believe us when we say no one is more disappointed than us that we couldn't continue DC into the future or be in a position to wrap up more smoothly. On a personal level, with the business closed, we are still working to explore potential options for trying to provide download links privately, although truthfully, we are encountering some limitations in terms of cost and security. We will try and provide an update in time if we find a solution. We want to thank you for 11 incredible years. We were not just a business, we were a community, and that's down to all of you. Thank you, the Design Cuts team. I get that changes happen quickly in a business, but this timeline is really concerning, and this frankly comes off as somewhat sketchy. I get that Amazon hosting bill was probably huge, but I can't understand, unless you've got a business that is not managing its funds or paying attention to its accounting, that they didn't at least have a minimum of 7 days, let alone 30 or 60, to say, we're going to go under. We need to let everybody know so that they can load the lifeboats with their stuff and get the heck off the ship before it sinks. Like, I can't fathom that. And, they talk about how, we recognize most customers download their assets following purchase. Yes, that's true. You also, and I mean, I can't at this point go and get the live where, they talked about it. You also said you're always welcome to, if you're trying to manage space, store them on the server and then download them when you need to. Which, I mean, if you're dealing with graphics that are gigs and gigs big, that, can be a decent solution. I would recommend that. And now everything is gone. All of it. You can't access anything. Their website is dead. I can't even get into Design Cuts to find out a list of things that I've lost. I mean, I can think of what I've lost, and I've gone into Dropbox and seen that, fortunately, I have made copies of things, but not everything. Like, I can think of some more recent purchases that, I didn't make a backup copy of necessarily. Like, I've gone in, I think, and installed it into Procreate and such, but I don't think I have a backup copy. I'm trying to think of the most recent thing that I got, because it's been a little bit. Because, again, all of their stuff has been pretty good quality. Assets add up in terms of cost. That's not to say that they didn't deserve my money. I mean, I often would do thoughtful purchases. And I used to purchase a whole lot more before I started being a little smarter about what I was purchasing. I realized I was kind of collecting Procreate brushes the way, I collect Sailor Moon stuff. Yeah, at some point, it gets to be a little bit much. So, I mean, I had, been a little better about what I purchased. And now if I happen to have removed them and, decide again that maybe I do want that brush, do I have a copy of it? Oh, I do. I can't see where it is. I can't get access to, various fonts that I purchased. I can't access one of the courses that I purchased. Like, all of that is just gone. And to tell me that you didn't have at least a 7-day warning or a 30 or a 60, I find that hard to believe. And unfortunately, because I've been purchasing things over, 5 years, and, I keep a tidy inbox so I don't keep receipts of everything, I don't actually know how much I've lost. It's probably somewhere in the nature of $500 to $1,000 of purchases that are probably lost, if I had to take a guess. And I'm a small creator. Like, I do this in my spare time. It's not my main job. Like, my main job, I work in healthcare, but I do creative stuff. I, create designs and all that. I do that in my spare time. I can't imagine what, illustrators and designers who do this full time have lost. Many people have probably lost thousands of dollars from Design Cuts. And they could have warned us. Even if you had given us a 24-hour warning, people could have gone in and tried to save things. You might have overloaded the server in the process, but you could have. Even that would have been better than this. This is just out of the blue. And it honestly reads a little bit as a possible class action lawsuit. I'm not a lawyer. I can only speculate, but this was there, and it's gone, completely gone. And the impression I got from looking through Instagram, as well as, the message that had come through from Uli Pronto, was this just kind of happened out of the blue. I'm not sure anybody had a clue that this was coming. And then you turn around and say you sold the brand to Creative Market? I mean, where do we go from here? I just can't believe it. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on with Design Cuts, but this is a huge loss for the illustration community. This was a great resource, not just for, creative assets, but also for teaching. They had awesome live sessions that they would do. I remember learning how to first initially do watercolor style on Procreate through Lisa Glanz's videos on Design Cuts. I remember first stumbling on Design Cuts because they had assets for the Affinity Suite, which was brand new. All of this is just gone. Now, I mean, granted, most of these artists that I mentioned have their own websites, and you can go and support them over there. From the looks of it, a number of them are trying to help provide access to files that have been lost. But what's really hard is it's like you can't even get a list of what you've lost because you can't log in. And if you didn't save receipts, which I can't be the only person that hits the trash button versus the archive button in Gmail just to try and keep things tidy, you don't even know what you've lost at this point. So it makes me angry. At the same time, it's also really, really sad. And I feel for the other creators and designers out here in the market. I guess this is definitely a lesson in learning to back everything up. I mean, I've always kind of been in that habit in backing things up often to, my Dropbox, so I have additional copies. And, between that and iCloud, it makes it easy to sync. But I never thought something as big as Design Cuts would go under and just go under unexpectedly. I think that's what's really frustrating is it just went under and there was no warning. I mean, no warning whatsoever. So Nathan Brown posted something earlier here on Instagram.
Closure of Design Cuts. And I know that this comes as a surprise and a shock to a lot of you. I was aware that Design Cuts would be closing, but I thought that you guys were going to be notified so that you would have the opportunity to download your purchases that you've made over the years. But apparently that is not the case. So I'm incredibly disappointed and heartbroken, as I know that you guys all are, about the way that it was handled. But I wanted to reassure you of a couple of things. The first is that I'm not going anywhere because art it's all I know how to do. So I have nowhere to go. So I wanted to just reassure you that I will continue to be providing content, creative products and tutorials, and continue teaching. If you have purchased any of my products on Design Cuts, I'm setting up accounts on my own website and providing access to those products and courses. So I have a flood of emails coming through right now, but go ahead and email me your name, your email, your any proofs of purchases that you may have from Design Cuts. If you don't have proofs of purchases, go ahead and email me anyway, because we'll figure it out. So I wanted to let you know that I'm here for you guys. I will set up access to your purchases, and don't let this get you down, because we're going to continue to create amazing art this year. We're going to continue to inspire each other. We're going to find community again, and all is not lost. All right? Thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.
Okay, so it sounds like Nathan Brown had maybe a little bit of warning. He's the only one I've seen that's had a warning. He's trying to set up to get things, but I mean, look at some of these comments. It's like, thank you so much. I'm in disbelief. I spent close to $1,000, and not to mention a year of Creative Club that we didn't get. I mean, everybody's just like, this is just out of the blue. Reddit, and you can see that this literally just opened and start. We're all just like, wait, what the heck? And it's like, I can tell you as a seller, we have not even been emailed about this. No warning, no explanation. And we're halfway through the month. There's no way to inquire about our earnings. This is just, unbelievably sketchy. Customer service can't be contacted. Acquired by Creative Market. It's because one of the things that was nice about Design Cuts, and I'm in agreement with Basketball 3242, is that they had a great curation. One of the things that frustrates me when I'm over on Creative Fabrica, even though it's a very cheap subscription, I mean, I'm not complaining there, it's that you go through and there's a lot of AI generated art. And you can tell, I mean, if you pull up some of these patterns, it's like, why is there a random blob here and there? Nobody is taking the time. They're just, fill the market. This is how I make it, easy money, just tons of clip art. And I don't even have to pay attention. And that's part of the reason why I do minimal clip art shopping on Etsy, because you're dealing with that same lack of curation Like, I want the content that I'm getting to be good so that I can actually use it and not have to go in and fix all of it. And Design Cuts did that. I was willing to pay more for that. Again, I had to start limiting myself because the quality was really good, but it was also easy to drop money as a result. Creative Market hasn't quite been as good lately, not to mention I felt like their prices were a little on the high side. From the sounds of it, and it sounds like things are getting run over by AI slop. And I mean, that's a whole subject in and of itself. I mean, we could go on an AI rant. I have mixed feelings on it. I think it can be used as a good tool, but it's definitely not being used as a good tool. Most of the time, it's being used as a shortcut, and a very crappy shortcut at that. It's very, very strange. And I mean, everybody's like, they had a great customer service team, and yet there's just this radio silence that's going on. And many people are like, why didn't they give buyers a heads up? Why didn't they let us know? I mean, even if you gave us just 24 hours or a week, we could have gone in and pulled all of our stuff so that we didn't lose it. And they actually made a point, and this person's, like I said earlier, they made a point that saying that our downloads wouldn't expire. You didn't have to could download what you needed at the time. And the newsletter went on like business as usual. It came out on like my last one came from the 10th. Saw my typical freebie. I mean, I wasn't in Creative Club, so I, didn't see an email where it said that like Creative Club closed. So I did not get that message. But this was just out of the blue. And I'm in agreement that this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Again, I don't know how it'll go about. I definitely feel like unless they figure out a way to backtrack and try and retrieve that data, if not giving us access to downloads, then at least letting us have access to a list of what we downloaded so that we can see what artists we need to try and contact with the hope that maybe they will honor that, there is going to be some major problems. All right. I just kind of wanted to take a moment to just sort of rant a little bit, express my thoughts, let the illustration community know that you are not the only person who is absolutely PO'd about this. I'm here and I'm PO'd. I guess we can all learn from this that it's probably better to make sure we always have copies of our stuff to save receipts. I get it. Companies go under. It sounds like they were struggling for years. I mean, not making money for 3 years, managers not taking a salary for months. The writing was on the wall. The ship had hit the iceberg. Why did you wait until the bow was in the air before you told all of us to load the lifeboats? Actually, I'm not even then. Even then, we could have gotten on lifeboats. Why did you wait until we were actually completely underwater before you waited to tell us? So kind of a different video than what I'm used to doing in terms of creating for all of you guys. But I felt like so many of us here do design stuff and, access design sources and things like that it was at least relevant. Feel free to use my comment section as a place to rant on it. You are more than welcome to have that vent space. I mean, that's part of the reason for me putting this video up was to vent. If we can all kind of come up with ideas of where do we go from here. I mean, obviously, the downside is that these are still digital assets that we purchase, so sharing them back and forth between each other, these artists still exist. They're stuck. So I think at this point, if there's something you definitely need a copy of or something that you're definitely missing, or of course, try and reach out to these artists. I know they're currently in the process of trying to set things up, so please be patient with them. It sounds like they're going to get swamped with emails. So, I mean, if you even want to maybe take a week, catch your breath, figure out what you're missing, and then reach out to them, that might even be a good idea. As for Design Cuts, this is bad karma, guys. We're heartbroken. We're sad to have lost you. You guys were an awesome site, but this was not the way to go out.